Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen talked taxes and agriculture, among other things, during a visit to Siouxland this morning.
Nebraska residents gathered at the Wayne Country Club to meet with Governor Pillen. Conversations over coffee and donuts included the future for Nebraska families and their children, cutting taxes, growing agriculture, and his values. Pillen is working to get a 40% state property tax reform passed through the unicameral. Nebraska has the 7th highest property tax rate in the country. He says that Nebraska is making progress on getting out of the top 10.
This group is totally affirmative. Everybody agrees our property taxes are so out of whack you don't even need to own property. Everybody is saying, hey, we need that solved. We need that fixed so that we can have our kids and come back. Our kids can own a home so that grandma and grandpa don't have to sell their home. Those are really, really important. We have to fix it now.
Dozens of people were in attendance, and many agreed with the idea of lowering those taxes.
Initially, he said one of the best solutions is to spend less money, and I think we're all on board with that. Getting a good handle on taxes, supporting education, those types of things. I think that resonates with everyone.
Governor Pillen continues his town halls today. He'll be in West Point as well.